Hello everyone, just a quick reminder, you can now support us on Patreon. You can get this show and all our shows a day early, and lots of other goodies by supporting us. If you like what we do, and you want to see us do more, you can find us at patreon.com/StudioOmegaYT. Thanks for your time, guys. Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Miru. Thanks for your support, guys.
Thank you.
喜べ少年.
That's right, everybody. Rejoice, because it is time, once again, for Let's Talk Fate Grand Order. I am one of your hosts, definitely Summer Omega. With me, as always, is my other host, probably some other season, Lucky.
Everyone, I hope you are enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka the vacation before the vacation. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN versions of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should just go get shot out of a cannon.
Also, I'm not kidding about it being summer. I had to set, even though it's like 10 o'clock at night, I had to go tell the AC to run so my room would cool off so I could turn off my fans and record.
Man, I have not turned off my AC in weeks. The only thing that changes is I turn on the fan when I'm sleeping.
No. Well, also, I've gotten real used to background noise. Hey, this is a perfect segue to let everybody know before we even get into it. We've got a new lifestyle, slice-of-life, general life comedy entertainment podcast called What's Up with Omega and Lucky that's a thing now. The first episode is on Patreon. And depending on how long this episode takes to make, it may be public before this. So go check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, we got a little bit of feedback. People say it's good.
Mm-hmm. People so far seem to have enjoyed it, but that's definitely if you liked our slightly rambling real life conversation right there, that's basically the entire show for almost 2 hours of the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so let's ask our most important question of the night.
Apparently vanished into a time-space hole, but then he came back.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Slowly but surely, we will get our tabletop RPG going.
We're working on it. I'm almost done. Though nobody asked today, but I would have been like, nah, definitely by this time next week, because I gotta finish up some notes, but I got the thing. We can do the thing.
Yeah, thanks.
I think everybody's got their backstory and stuff. Alright, well, before we go any further, let's check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mesh, and, get...
Senpai! 起きてください.
That's right, it's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for Protips. Got two things today. First of all, this is not a real, FGO pro tip, but this is more like a Let's Talk FGO pro tip. So, I want to remind everybody, because we got a lot of subs. We're at almost 750 right now. I expect with this episode we will probably easily tip over that, if not quite a bit higher. We've got something like a 45 episode backlog. You know, we've been doing this for almost a year. Plus we got some other junk out there. Some stuff like we talked about. We got a new show. We have some old shows. We've got some Let's Plays and stuff. So if you ever need to kill time, farming or grinding or whatever, check out our back catalog. A lot of our listeners have been doing that lately. So you can do it, get caught up in our latest in-jokes, get caught up in our new in-jokes, whatever. Personal recommendation, we have just started posting Lucky Plays Dead Space. I myself tried out the first episode of that while I did some grinding, and it's great. You're so sassy to necromorphs. I didn't know you could be that sassy to necromorphs, but you can. Top percent.
Well, again, it's like Dead Space, to tangent on Dead Space for a minute. Dead Space is a game I beat several times, and it's an IP I love. I even enjoyed Dead Space 3, which people usually go towards. But, so, I'm already, the hardened engineer necromorph hunter, and I just bring that, right from the beginning. I still get spooked. I still get startled, because, I said, it's been, almost 10 years since Dead Space came out. And if anyone knows Lucky, his memory is kind of shit. So surprises are still surprising.
Also, for my preference, you use way too much plasma. Could be killing those necromorphs in at least one less shot.
I got plenty of ammo.
Alright, so let's talk about a real pro tip. So this is actually an interesting thing. We've had some members of the community kind of get together and figure out some of this math. So, basically, mathematically speaking, attack down and defense down are the same effect. We'll explain a little bit about how that works in a second. But basically, what this means is if you have an 80% defense up and then you have an enemy with 20% attack down, that enemy does 0 damage. 100% of their damage is being reduced. The primary difference here is in the tags, a a buff nullification will prevent you from buffing your defense, or a debuff immunity will prevent you from clearing giving an enemy attack down. There's also specific an attack debuff resist. Later we'll be talking about servants who do pierce defense, so obviously, like, there's a lot of different mechanics that interact specifically with a buff that says attack down or defense down, but the math is the same. Shout out to Burn for figuring this out.
Yeah, so, like, you might, like, question this and go, like, huh, how does that work? And you have to remember that in FGO, there is no actual defense stat. Everything is based off either the enemy's attack or your servant's attack. So, like, when you inflict, when, like, an enemy uses defense up, it's not actually increasing their defense, it's actually applying a negative modifier to your servant's attack. And so basically a lot of these buffs and debuffs are additive upon themselves because they're only affecting actually one source.
Or at least they reduce the damage that is derived from the attack stat. We don't necessarily know, like, how the equation is built exactly, but there's a mathematical equation. There's only one number that calculates attack plus a little bit of RNG. There's a little bit of like plus or minus room, and then that's it. So that one number is damage. So and we've covered this before. Defense up is a percentage reduction of the damage, and then damage cut is a static damage reduction.
Yeah. But real quick, I'm gonna give another shout out to Burn because I figured out this actually a little while ago back during the Onigashima event when I was trying to figure out how the Buster Quick and Arts resistance up and stuff down worked. Because, you know, looking at it normally, it shouldn't have been doing what it's doing. And Burn, like, sat down, took an hour, used her own resources, took plenty of screenshots, and made, using MASH as a, what's the word I want to use? Just as a neutral part, like, sat down and broke down the math of how it works and why this is. So, again, shout out to Burn for going that extra length to make sure that we know what's going on. She did the science, and we are super grateful for that.
But did she blind us with it? Alright, let's move into records from the throne already, but like, you wrote all this stuff down first,
I'll go. Yep. So, Lucky's been super busy this week. I have gotten Jack, Liz, and Caster Lid Smile protected. With all the embers I've been farming, I was also able to max levels Theno, Shiki, Ku, Diamond, Asterios, and Matahari. I'm pretty sure I did more, I just can't remember them.
Yeah, there's a lot of basically it's half AP daily EXPs, so it's a real good time. For me personally, I have managed to protect Robin and Arash's smiles. Arash actually need a lot of work. I would have more here, but I don't think this qualifies for Nettle World Evo. This is just a shit happens in FGO. But shockingly, somehow I am basically out of Void Dust, and everybody needs fucking Void Dust. I'm like running out of monuments for certain classes and stuff. Like there's such thing sometimes as too much leveling, and clearly I'm starting to cut into my backlog of supplies without necessarily replenishing them because I'm farming EXPs. So my EXPs have gotten spread out a lot, and some people have not been able to actually reap their next level of reward. Though I have done a lot of rank up.
Yeah, that's Rom's deficiency. I think I have 13 that I can do, and a bunch I just haven't unlocked yet.
Well, they are a little AP intensive, so we said this, this is a pseudo pro tip, but we actually said this earlier today in our Discord, some people were talking about it. You only really need to prioritize rank up quests for servants that you like and use a lot. Otherwise, if you're not actually, like, everybody can tell you, you know, hey, Spartacus, fucking life hack, give him his rank up so he does Buster and the other thing, and then you can like, give him a K-scope or whatever, do his NP, interlude, all that stuff. And he'll, you know, eat hands for breakfast. Like, everybody can tell you that, but if you're like, yeah, but I'm not gonna use Spartacus, I want to use somebody else, then you don't need to do his rank ups. I mean, they got a quartz in them, so that's good, but, you know, like, you don't necessarily want to spend quartz to make quartz, like, so don't go burn a rainbow apples or anything on it. It's just their thing to do, to max out those servants you've already put a lot of detail in. Yeah, so that's that. Let's move into news, then, if I don't think we have anything else to say about that. Yeah, because on the news front, NA is holding the fort. They are basking in what is arguably a great event, barring a couple of speed bumps. We'll talk about that later. But the actual what's going on now is great. It's fun. People are loving the fucking rotating banner, rolling for Da Vinci's. Everybody's got their, you know, everybody gave Delightworks and Aniplex US and whatever, at least, $30 or whatever it is for guaranteed SSRs, all that goodies. So we're pretty cool as a cucumber in English land. Let's go into Japan land though, where stuff is happening. Mm-hmm. First off, Interlude Release 6, at least that's what the campaign is called. So, Quartz interludes have been added for Jean, Abigail, Wuzetan, Kirke, and Mordred. You can join me and lots of other people who were super disappointed that Jean and Mordred were just Quartz interludes. And I haven't even seen anything out of them, so I don't even know if they're that interesting either.
Yeah.
There's an NP interlude for Rider of the Resistance. I don't really know if he wanted or need that, but I don't know. Whatever, he's the thing. And there's a skill interlude for Passion Lip, which also, in addition to that, has a lot of interesting commentary about the nature of the Sakura 5 and fully talks about the other 3 who are not yet in the game.
I kind of feel like they might be gearing up for a CC event part 2 for the next collab.
Maybe, or something.
It's got to be that,
or maybe they'll do a
Tsukihime.
Maybe they'll do a CCC rerun? No, they'd have to do F-Zero rerun first. I don't know. They could still...
Either they're going to do, CCC part 2, or they're going to do Tsukihime. That's where we got to go going forward.
They're not going to do Tsukihime event. They got to remake Tsukihime. That's what they said. They're going to do the thing, whatever. No, but there's other stuff you could throw out the servants on, because they're interested in, the Foxtail manga, so you did something about that. Other weird stuff. But yeah, so they talk about...
look, the Gouda collabs are based off a very silly manga.
Yeah.
And they're getting intense now, so, whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, so you could definitely do some other stuff for thematics to release Violet, Kazura Drop, and King Protea. Also going on in Japan right now is the Gotterdammerung pre-release campaign. Yes, it's very German. There's a double T and a double M in there.
I'm not even going to try, so don't ask.
So this is going to run from 7/13, so it's ongoing right now, to 7/27. Hey, guess what? The anniversary festival is 7/28. Gee, who could have guessed? And basically, people who complete or completed the Anastasia chapter before the campaign end gets 10 sync quartz. That's a new thing, I think. I don't think they've done that before. That's interesting. Or if they keep doing that before.
I think it has something to help generate interest.
Yeah, probably. Lost Belt 1 is half AP, and all Part 1 story in Japan is now permanently half AP, so now it's double half, it's 1/4 AP. So if you're a new player to Japan and trying to... They are very friendly about people trying to catch up, basically, for the new story arc. And features a write-up on a new SSR Archer Napoleon. Shocking everybody, it's Lost Belt Archer. He actually is Napoleon.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered if
I think we're so used to the...
basically, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Which is everybody was like, he's got to be a lolly
everyone
or
was
Shota,
so
right?
used to the yeah, he's short, right? No, he's this big, burly, badass dude with a giant cannon.
He is as tall as Emiya, which Emiya's actually like a normal height for a human being. He's taller than Shiro, but it's because Shiro's still a high school kid. He's got a couple years left to grow.
Yeah, me and a couple other people in the Discord were lamenting our lack of a cute Shota Napoleon.
But there are actually shots of Japanese Twitter who are like, he's normal sized. He's not small.
What is
he's
this?
Not a girl. What are you doing? But yeah, no, Lost Belt Archer is Napoleon, which is why I originally thought it wasn't going to be. But no, the design was right, and so it kind of works out. And actually, we'll talk a little bit about some of the background and stats on that in a second.
He's not short, but he's still cool. All right.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's actually really interesting, and we'll cover why in a little bit. That's really all our news. By the way, there's nothing else special going on the banner. It's just, hey, there's a new... by the way, he's a permanent. He's coming out. He's a new thing.
Nice.
He's going to be here forever. And
That's good.
No, it's Lost Belt Archer, which, by the way, makes me... I know they're not going to do it for everybody, because they got a fucking hawk in there, but it makes me super happy that a lot of the focal point Lost Belt servants are permanent. Like, the enemy, the Cryptor servants, and also the actual key image servants. That's really helpful. And Lucky would be super glad if the new Tamamo is a permanent.
Massive thumbs up to that.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll see. But also, yes, fair warning, this is just a pre-release campaign. They don't normally do that for story chapters, but they have done it before. And so, be warned, there was going to be at least one actual Gotterdammerung banner, probably two, because there'll be one for new permanent characters who are added, who are just whoever's in the scenario, and then there will be one for actual, like, story locks or limiteds even, who are the actual, like, exclusive servants to that scenario. So everybody was freaked out when Ivan and Salieri's banner came up right after the first one. Don't be surprised this time. It's gonna happen. Ivan's popularity is actually pretty surprising, but
yeah,
it's funny. I like a lot of people are like, I bet they won't. I'm wondering if they do. Like, they might do a couple still, like, male summer servants, but I feel like they're still gonna stick to their guns with money because they've done that a couple times. But in terms of, like, just story and even welfares, they've been going whole hog on the male characters lately this year.
They really have.
Like, they brought Arthur back for White Day. For the Fate Apocrypha event, they gave you free Sieg. They gave you permanent unlocks on Chiron and Achilles. You know, Ivan was a huge surprise for the Anastasia Part 2 banner. Now Napoleon's out.
Let's not forget Sakamoto.
Mm-hmm.
Sakamoto,
who was free. And then Okada Izo is, for a 3-star, is really cool. People like him a lot. He's got an interesting, like, multiple Ascension arts. Like, they had some creative stuff with that.
I was like, there was Okita Alter in there, but...
Right, and she was obviously the big biller. You know, she was top billing, but still.
She's cute.
They did it. I don't mean, like, they've also released Semiramis this year. So, they're doing a thing, but still, like, they've definitely done a fair shake at male servants this year.
I'm kind of, as I said, again, for summer, I'm hoping they're not just going to do, like, an all-female lineup. I'm hoping they at least put, like, 2 to 3 guys in there. Yeah,
I feel like they might squeak in... I feel like they would at most squeak in, like, one straight up and then maybe, like, Astolfo. Because that's, like, a thing. They can be cheeky about that. And you could
give me SSR Summer Gwaine. Too strong.
Such sun.
You can bring in Nightless.
Well, at the very least, they could give him better skills. His skill set's a little limited. He is just a Buster Gorilla. He's got a fucking Berserker deck. But yeah, so let's move into Chaldea Free Talk. So hey, here's our controversial hot take segment where we're probably gonna get yelled at by people. Only we're not, because I don't think anybody who actually watches our show has ever yelled at us for our opinions. They just don't watch. So
I'm pretty sure, like, people share their opinions, but I don't think anyone has ever actually gone, no, you're wrong.
No, like, occasionally if we've been, like, factually, like, literally, objectively wrong about something, people are like, hey, that's not actually correct. And we're like, oh, okay, thanks. Thanks for letting us know. But nobody's like, you suck, kill yourself. Like, that has not happened to us. I mean, I've gotten a couple snarky comments on, like, the actual subreddit regarding to posting episodes there, and actually, some of you may have noticed, last week I didn't post our episode to Reddit, because I think we actually don't need to anymore. And they're not really getting upvoted anymore, and it didn't affect our views at all. So I think we finally hit a point where we have enough subs and enough, like, percolation on YouTube that people who still click through from Reddit are a small factor. Let me know if you still want me to do that, because obviously you guys are actually watch the show, so if you care, I care that you care, and I don't care what other people on Reddit say, but otherwise the analytics seem to be saying that it wasn't important anymore. Yeah. But yeah, so let's talk about, I have titled this is one point on the show notes, but I've titled this, Why You Shouldn't #FireAlbert.
You see, I have no idea what this is about, because as usual, Lucky doesn't participate in the greater community because...
You're a busy man, and also you don't care.
Yeah, because I don't care.
So, alright.
But when I see something like this, I'm like, what?
So, Lucky, you were there at the first not literally there, but we were watching the live stream panel. Yeah. And you may be shocked to find out that some people were not happy with the North America first anniversary. Somehow.
Oh my goodness.
People were not happy. So I'll kind of break this down. Like, alright, I'll start this out by saying, guys, I don't want to sound like I'm like a full-blown, like, the Lightworks Aniplex apologist. No, there are a couple of legit concerns and criticisms in here. I just... Like, I've said this before on the show, I've spent a lot of my youth being fiery on the internet, and I've come to a realization as an adult now that that's just not worth it. It is just so exhausting to be in some of those, like, knockdown dragouts. Like, one, it's not a very good attitude, I think, to carry forward, and two, y'all need to be very careful about how you phrase some of this stuff. Like, we've talked about before how this is a business. There are business decisions being made here. There is a certain amount of rational behavior involved in that. Like, that's also important to note. It's a rational type of behavior. It's a logical type of behavior. Very rarely are our corporations actually like, and then we'll fuck everybody over. Ooh, I'm rubbing my hands together. No, they'll be like...
It's also the inverse. Corporations also can't be like, let's give them everything they want.
Yeah, no, because then they don't make any
They
money.
can't do that
they
either.
Pay anybody. But they are a rational business operator. So admittedly they'll be like, okay, we can cut a corner here, and it doesn't hurt us any. But and they will do that. But at the same time, like, there's not necessarily any reason to believe that they are just maliciously cutting corners on the English version. I mean, they expanded to multiple stores and countries this year even. So like they're doing stuff. But so we'll say the big thing is we only got 10 sync ports. And I agree that's kind of a raw deal. This should be the point where we start getting 30 sync ports for an event. But I want to point this out. I've heard, and I would like some people to confirm if they're listening to this, but I've heard that technically other anniversaries didn't necessarily, it wasn't like they just got 30 sync ports. They got 30 sync ports for stuff. Like, they got the usual, like, 10 for a live stream, and then somebody said that they got, like, more for, like, getting a certain amount of likes or approval views on, like, a celebratory video or something like that. So, yeah, the logic is they don't give quartz for nothing. It's always for a thing, and 10 is pretty typical for, like, anime convention panels or, like, live streams and stuff. I don't know if Japan is full-blown, like, yes, we are saying it is 30 Saint Quartz for this live stream, because obviously we don't necessarily watch the live streams because they're in Japanese, and so, like, everything's, like, we see everything, like, totaled up at the end. Somebody translates for us and said, oh, they got 30 Saint Quartz for this event. Was it all for one thing, or was it just for one? And, quite frankly, if they are still, like, okay, so it's 10 Saint Quartz for this thing, and then 10 Saint Quartz for this thing, and then 10 Saint Quartz because, I don't know, just because I feel like it. If, in America, they bump that to, like, oh, you get 30 Saint Quartz or 20 Saint Quartz just because I feel like it, those other larger, longer-running, more dedicated communities might be a little bit like, hey, whoa. So, it's kind of a two-way street, right? And I want to say this, I think we should let them know we don't like that it's 10 Saint Quartz, but we should be careful about how we say it. We should just, and some people I think have done a very good job at this. They have examined the actual rate of quartz give out. Honestly, so far we're actually pretty on par, other than a couple of key points, like we missed about 20 here, we missed a bit more, I don't remember the exact number now, but we missed a bit more that should have been in between the Fate Zero, like, pre-release and actual Fate Zero release should have been a little bit more, though I feel like that was about the time that our social media interaction here was getting a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are a little bit behind, but on general we're about average. The problem that I do agree with people who have figured this out is that currently the English server has very front-loaded its quartz. There were a lot of extra quartz rewards at the beginning, and there have been a couple of, like, if you come back to the game after playing it, but I don't think we've had a start dash renewal in, like, a little bit, and, like, we haven't necessarily had events which spread out the quartz giving, so people who are super new at FGO are kind of not getting as much quartz out of it.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I will say this, though. The thing I'm saying is that the other thing we need to keep in mind is we do not have the full picture, and we are not necessarily strictly entitled to the full picture, because nobody gets that. Nobody gets the full picture of, like, what goes on with this type of stuff, right? So that'd be a little weird if we were like, but we're FGO.
A lot of people say, like,
full
transparency is a good thing. I don't agree with that, because when you know basically everything that's going on under the hood, like bad shit can happen from that.
It takes out the mystery, and it means it's hard if you have something go wrong to cover it up, which can hurt a thing for no reason.
Yeah.
And it makes everybody's careers a lot more
stressful.
Yes, and it puts you on a lot thinner ice, because if there is a fuck up, somebody will see, for sure. So, like, I feel like transparency is an important thing in some areas of our life, but for business, it's like, it's not an expected thing, so we should not necessarily be like, we demand extra transparency because we're FGO in America. That's not how this works. That is a poor expectation to set for yourself. It will not be fulfilled. This is what I say. Right. Like, so, keep your expectations reasonable.
So my whole thing about this is, yeah, I can understand people wanting more quartz, but, like, I try and take back and look at a larger view. like we here in North America, like we don't pull the same kind of numbers in revenue that Japan does. We don't. We just don't. It's
now
physically
supposedly we have done very
impossible
well
just
for
by how
America
our player
in some
base
of our
is, like the
banners.
sizes. And yet, even though that, we have got several quality of life updates way ahead. We started off with the 30 quartz pool, and for our first anniversary, when Japan got theirs down to 30 quartz, we got the increase in paid quartz.
Obviously, that doesn't help free-to-play players, but it's still a quartz bonus that is consumer-friendly.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't help free-to-play players, but guess what? This is also when the time the paid gacha was going around, so if you bought quartz, you got a little bit extra out of that.
Also, I will say this. Also, apparently, if I heard this right, people were debating this. I think when Japan started Master Missions with Saint Quartz Fragments, they were at 1. And we started at 2.
I don't know. Now they're up to 3. I know that.
Well, they're up to 3 now, which, by the way, we're going to get early. Like, if this trend continues, we're going to get it about a year to a year and a half before Japan got it, I think. I'm pretty sure, if they keep this trend up of adding improvements early. So, we might be experiencing a bit of a drought here, but that means longer term we'll start to tick back up.
See, that's why I'm taking this as I'm taking this loss of quartz as an investment towards better improvements in the game. That's how I look at it.
Also, I was
like, I didn't get the quartz, but I'm getting more. I can buy more quartz. I get all these quality of life updates sooner.
Yeah, there are 2 points.
As I said, my game ain't crashing. Well, my game does crash on me. That's because I have a crappy phone. I don't blame the app for that.
We've had so few speed bumps. Like, people are like, yeah, I think we've gotten a little bit less golden apples than like Japan did if you discount maintenance golden apples, but we have a lot less if you discount maintenance golden apples, because guess what? We don't have emergency maintenance very often.
Yeah.
Our game is
that's the way
stable.
I look at it. It's like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but try to have some tact with your opinion. I think that's what's super important. And that's what a lot of people forget on
basically,
the internet.
You've come to the point I was going to have at the end, because I think we got a couple other things I want to talk about this debacle. But yeah, basically the point is, have some tact, think about your responses a little, don't say dumb shit, and be careful about what you yell about, because this is another thing. Like, if they give, like I said before, they give Quartz 4 stuff. If you yell at Aniplex for having shitty live streams, they're just going to be like, well, they don't want us to do live streams. Guess what? That means you don't get live stream Quartz. They're not going to just give you Quartz for nothing. That's not how the system works. So you may have to put up with a few crappy live streams that we don't know who the hell they're aimed at if you actually want your bonus Quartz. And yes, that means they should improve those streams, but still, like, something is better than nothing. So don't just take a dump on everybody all the time.
Everyone go yell at Aniplex to have us host the live stream. We'll make it great.
Well, honestly, a lot of people would yell at them to hire Voice, because Voice's panel was super successful, and
Voice would probably yell at them to bring us, because then he could have someone to talk with.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. That sounds like Voice. Voice totally tweeted at them and was like, "Hey, I just saw this comment. If Aniplex, if you want me, I'm here." So who knows? Maybe they will. That'll be a point I get back.
I'm gonna put on my business card, Studio Omega. We're friends with Voice.
We could put that in our business cards. But also the other thing about the back end is we are a very weird server, right? Because we got all this clairvoyance. It seems like from interviews that Japan is at the very minimum ambivalent about picking up the pace and closing the 2-year gap. I think the way they phrased, way Shiokawa phrased an interview was like, we haven't thought about it, we haven't thought about not doing it, so just, like, it's a thing. We're probably
honestly just the way the events have been structured. Like, either we're gonna start slowly catching up, just because we don't have to deal with because we've accelerated rank up quests. We don't need bond expansions because we got those from the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like we are going to have a much cleaner and better run schedule in the end.
Yeah,
we've actually been talking with people about in Japan, November and December was a clusterfuck. Yeah. Because there's Christmas rerun, and then the actual Christmas event started early in November, and then there's 2 banners for Babylon and whatever. But we're technically still 2 weeks to a month ahead of Japan because we started the game literally a month earlier. So if you move the current Christmas placement in Japan up 2 weeks, it's in the middle of November. Now they're not averse to doing that, but that would seem like it would be really weird for them to push it up quite so far. It will be fully blown. It'll be complete before December even starts. At the very least, the Valentine's event was in February. We called them out for making it early, but at the same time, it was still in February. It just happened to be a little bit before Valentine's.
Still makes
this would be
sense.
like full blown, not even in December. So they could totally swing it around so the Babylon story release is like mid to late November, get those banners out of the way, and then do the actual Christmas event in December, and then the final chapter thing, which is a separate thing.
Oh yeah,
There's
because
like
the final chapter thing has to happen like at the end of the year,
it has to
doesn't
happen
it?
at the end of the
Something
year.
like
We have a
that.
time lock. It said the world ended, blah blah blah, and then it says that we will resolve the thing at the end of blah 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 year. So it'll be 2018 for us, yeah. So we have a firm resolution. We have to resolve this at the end of 2018.
Yeah.
So we will. That can't move. But Babylon could wiggle around a little, and they could wiggle those banners, and they could unfuck that. Also, guess what? There's a lot of Garbo, like just junk events and raid ups in November too, like nonsensical stuff. So they could totally rearrange some stuff, which would be to our benefit because it would be. I mean, it would confuse us, but it would definitely be like a cleaner run.
We won't be blinded because, like, aside from the dates changing.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, we could make some calls because we've done that before. We've been like, no, nothing's happening. I feel a thing coming. Something's gonna happen. Like, we can sense that way. But still, like, it's yeah. But what I was getting at was like we have a weird thing going on because we have all this stuff. Like, we don't see the back end numbers. Delayworks and Aniplex are watching this, and they can probably see like it could be something as simple as like, well, these fuckers always hoard their quartz. They don't need an extra 20 quartz because they just stockpile the shit. Because that could be true, because we do that a lot. We have a lot of people who save for specific banners because they know they are coming. And then they blow their quartz then, and then they spend a couple extra money to blow more quartz, and then they stop.
Like, good.
We are not as easily baited as Japan would be because they didn't know at the time and still don't know in the future about stuff. So, like, maybe they see the numbers of our spending and are like, well, these fuckers don't need any extra quartz.
Yeah,
And,
JP
like,
is
that's-
literally on the front lines fighting these battles for us.
And if we say, no, we'd really like that quartz, we can still say that, and maybe they'll listen to us, but, like, they have a legitimate discussion on that. And, you know, if the community Jimmy rustling actually affects their business model, sure, but I'm not gonna like stop playing the game and stop rolling for servants just that they give us slightly more free quartz. Especially considering, like I said, there's a lot of quality of life going into this. We've gotten a lot of events that have gotten quality of life updates. Really important.
Yeah, remember how
stuff.
we got 8BP for
Yeah, APP.
what was the first one?
Rashomon?
Not Onigashima, Rashomon.
And remember how we got enhanced drops for Journey to the West, which still sucked, but did not suck as bad as it should have?
Yeah.
Those were all boosted. Like,
It's like
those
you
are
got,
changes
like,
they're making. And they're also doing out-of-game stuff. The FGO Minis game, the Duel, should be releasing in America about the same time as it releases in Japan, which is crazy.
honestly, like, that is really crazy. They're basically saying, we trust that the NA, this will be popular enough in the NA fan base that we can import it immediately.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy from a business sense. They're literally taking a kind of a gamble, like, they're taking a calculated risk here.
They blew a fuck ton of money buying ads at AX.
Yeah.
And I will say this, like I
They're
said,
trying,
there
like-
are a couple of concerns I think we do have. Like, the quartz is a thing, but be careful about how you phrase that domain for quartz, because like we said, quartz is for a thing, and we don't know the whole story. The other thing is, so it sounds a little bit like the actual Aniplex US end is a little bit stingy with the staffing. I've heard some complaints that their booth was understaffed. Their lines were especially long, even for AX. And like some of they had some like supply problems. And I mean, you and I think pretty sure
This might have been in kerfuffle on their side that they didn't expect this much popularity.
We do know that there was a bit of a. Lucky and I believe both pointed out, and some of our community members definitely did during the live stream. Like their control room, if they had a control room, did seem a little lacking on the panel. There were a lot of awkward camera pans, lingering a little too long on the graphics package and stuff. Like I feel like they should have had somebody with a little more directorial zeal in there, directing that or running that. And
honestly, and just looking at Albert, I can see it. That guy looked ragged.
That guy looks overworked. He's super enthusiastic all the time, but he's overworked. Yeah. Like Aniplex has done streams for fun, and he is always there at them. I'm pretty sure it's because he's just still at work in the middle of the night. He hasn't left. It's not like he's coming in to stream. He's still there working. He's a busy boy. Because
he says he slept at the office a few times.
Yeah. So, like, this is why I said, like, why you shouldn't hashtag FireAlbert. This came out after the panel, which was really mean to people. Albert's, as far as I know, official job position, he's always introduced himself as localization producer for FGO. That is what he's supposed to be doing.
It looks like he's putting on a couple more hats under
localization. And that is what his official title is, as far as we know. And what he introduces himself as to us. Is he producing the localization? It sure seems like it. He directs the localization, the people looking the script, and organizing that stuff, and he, like, goes to panels and stuff, but he is not, like, our community manager or something, which it seems like they're making him do just because he's a guy who, like, is enthusiastic about the game and speaks a little bit of but speaks enough Japanese, obviously, to oversee the script translation, so... Like, when they bring on Japanese voice actors, guess what? They brought a guy who speaks a little Japanese to talk to them. Okay, so he's a little rough around the edges at some panels, but fuck, if his job description is, like, localization producer, not panel MC, hey, guess what? You're not practicing that. God knows, like, if Lucky and I did a live show, God knows what we'd be like. Fuck. And I hate crowds. I actually have social anxiety. But we're doing a community thing, which technically goes out to a shitload of people. Our last couple of podcasts are all over 1,000 views. But actually talking to 1,000 people in a room, fuck, I don't know. I don't know what I'd be like.
I could probably do it.
I would probably suck it up, but I would feel like dying a lot. I just would hide it, because that's what I do. If you ever meet me in person, I probably feel like I'm dying inside, so just don't worry about it. That's just how I am.
There's the cutest ass spider on my mic, and I'm just gonna leave it alone because it's precious.
Hey, whatever you want to do. I could probably go. I've left spiders alone before. Wasps, those I can't leave alone. Mostly because I have to freak out and run away. But that's because of my deep-seated phobia from childhood. Anyway, it's turning to what's up all of a sudden. I want to round up the question and just say people are being super, like, dismissive and mean to Albert, like saying he should be fired. What? Because he makes jokes. Okay, so some of his jokes didn't land when he made them. Like he joked about people leaving, and people actually instead of leave, he was like, no, don't actually leave. Because he clearly is assuming that he is not the authority at that panel, but people are treating him like that. So that should show you that he's a little out of his depth.
Yeah.
And I know people want to say, like, he's
become the face of FGO North America.
Yeah. If you want to, like, microanalyze his performance, some people are like, he tells the crowd to be louder too much. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like I've watched quite a few, like, internet stuff panels before. That seems like a thing. I said this before. That's like a 3-ring binder thing. Like, people do that all this fucking time. They tell you, I didn't hear you, be louder. And, like, so he was a little awkward, sure. The voice actors were like, they were enthusiastic, and obviously somebody will probably they'll be like, how dare you talk this way about Kawasumi-san and try to stab me. But there were a couple times where she flubbed her lines because she was super excited at the panel. Like, she was happy to be there, it seemed like, and, like, she got a little over enthusiastic, and she flubbed a few things, and they had to do it over again. That's what just happens in life. You don't know
precious.
Because I destroyed the recording, but I had to do a take 2 because I lost track of what I was doing at the start of the show once. We had to do it over again. It happens. So, like, I think people are being harsh on him because they're mad about other stuff, and he's just the guy who's there. I would appreciate it if Aniplex hired another guy to be there, but apparently the U.S. end of Aniplex is really small. It's a couple years old, but I think they've got stats that reported that they had, like, 3 full-time people. I'm pretty sure that's bigger by now, because that was, like, several years ago. And they've obviously got contractors and part-time and stuff, but, like, they seem to be a small outlet for... Aniplex it's actually a Japanese company, right? And this is just... Aniplex's U.S. is just the U.S. branch?
I believe so.
I believe that. That is what I understand. If that is not correct, please let us know. But yeah, so, like, we can understand that being a little streamlined, and yeah, I think they're being a little stingy with manpower, but that's direct that to them and be like, hey, you guys should hire a person to do this, like, full-time or part-time, or just to help Albert out, because clearly you're, like, putting a lot on him, and he is not able to necessarily deliver the best, like, social experience to people. He's enthusiastic about the game, that helps, and he's doing his job with the translations and stuff, but
Aniplex is Japanese. It's owned by Sony Music Entertainment Japan.
Yeah, okay. So, Big Daddy Sony owns this, ultimately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, like, they're, and that's obviously, when you get to, like, super big, like, corporations, like, parent corporations, you can understand kind of how some stuff gets lost in the mix, and obviously then you should raise your voice a little, but, like I said, be careful, be respectful, Don't say dumb shit like the cake was fake. The cake wasn't fake.
Why? They posted pictures of the cake.
They did that later, but, like, why the fuck would you say the cake is fake? It just had really hard outer decorative shell that made it so they couldn't cut it with, like, a kitchen knife. Okay?
Yep.
Like, it looked really cool. Kabasumi even said at the panel it smells sweet. Like, just, what the fuck are you thinking? Who would do that? That's an asshole thing to do. We just talked about how corporations aren't assholes. They're just, well, they might be a little, you might think of them as assholes, but they're just doing things. Like, that's, why would you even think that? That's dumb. Don't be dumb.
You know why? It's because it's a bunch of people on a keyboard in front of a monitor. Yeah. I said this, like, this is one of my firm beliefs is people get a lot more courageous when they don't have to yell their grievances at someone face to face.
Well, hey, our faces aren't here, but our voices are, and I'm yelling at you, a voice to your voice. Don't say that shit. That's dumb. I'm calling you dumb. That was a dumb thing to say. Why would you say that? I'm so glad that the Aniplex actually officially posted, here's the actual fucking cake, and people were like, there were so many people who were relieved, like, oh my god, thank god they did that. We can finally kill this the cake's fake thing.
The only thing I was thinking is like, god damn, I want some cake now.
Oh yeah, I mean, cake's delicious. If those little, like, April Fool's Rio face people were edible, I would totally eat Mordred. You can clip that out of context, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, you can't see it, but I'm giving you the side eye right now.
I'm just, smile, arch an eyebrow. Yeah, that's just.
But
there was a lot of yelling. I think people are. We talked about this, I think, before the mic, that like people are yelling about stuff into the void. Some of them won't change their opinions, but if you actually want change to happen, be sensible about what you're yelling. Don't just be angry mobile game player shakes fist at sky.
If you want to make a point, like, be polite about it, be courteous, have facts, and be open, and keep your mind open.
Yeah, because like I said, there are people who are actually breaking down the exact quartz levels, and those are the people who are saying that, actually, we're not really that far behind if you take things into account. Even if you, like, look at the different versions of the game or different time periods of the game. Like, we're okay, we're lagging a little behind, and it feels like we may experience a tick where, like, Japan's rate increases if we don't balance that out a little. But, like, that is the important thing. That actual, like, math and statistics and stuff that you can say that, and you can propagate, you can arm the community with that knowledge, and you can let the people behind this business know, hey, we have this knowledge, we think you should do this about it. That lets them know that you were, like, fully informed, and they actually have to do something then.
But if you just, like, get on a soapbox, start screaming just because you're pissed off you didn't get another free 20 quartz, I think very few people are going to listen to you. The only other people who are going to listen to you are the people who are going to get up on that soapbox and stop screaming. It's just a literal mob mentality.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I mean, we don't even fucking know. Like, the subreddit only ever has, like, 2,000 people active at a time. Theoretically, we're up to, what is it, like, 4 million people? 3 million? What was our last event? 3 million?
I think it was 3 million, yeah.
Like theoretically, we've got a decent community of downloads to work from. Obviously, rerolls and whatever, and okay, the numbers probably aren't accurate, but still, like, it's a thing. So yeah, it's all about scale. How long have we been going on this? Wow, this took 45 minutes almost. But it was good. I was fiery. Like, this has been burning me up all week. Because
like, when I saw it, I was all like, oh, I'm going to get upset about this.
Last week's show, like, we did right after the panel, so that was just our raw thoughts of the panel. I didn't have any community reaction yet, and then just the first couple days after, it was just, oh my god, guys. Like, okay, I'll say this. Like, this is another thing I wanted to bring up. I have heard that this is common for what they call non-clearing rooms at conventions, and I can understand that. The room that the FGO panel was at didn't have to be cleared, so to avoid the long lines that happen at conventions like this, some FGO people camped out in some panels beforehand, but it sounds like they fucking crashed a couple panels for, like, other anime people in the industry just to wait for the FGO panel. And we're not necessarily the best audience about that. I'm just like, God, guys, you're trying to make complaints and demand as a community, but we are not always putting our best foot forward here. Like, God, that sounds... I can accept that is a thing that commonly happens at conventions, but the way it was parsed to me from a couple people who were there, it sounds like just a really shitty thing to do to those people running those panels.
Yeah.
It just sounds uncomfortable for them. And God knows we've just talked about my social anxiety. I've been uncomfortable about stuff in life enough. I don't wish other people to be uncomfortable about stuff. That fucking sucks. So yeah, that's our thoughts on that. I talked for a whole shitload. What do you think? Should we skip ahead to talk about Napoleon and do that really quick and then jump back to Summer because it's long, or what?
I can read all of Summer if you want me to.
Okay, Lucky, I wrote Summer. It's only fair you read Summer to me.
All right, I'm going to read Summer to you.
Everybody,
all right, so
buckle your fucking belts.
Everyone, strap in. We're about to do the Summer pregame. Everyone's been waiting for it. Everyone's been hyped for it. And hopefully with this, you can be a little bit more prepared for it. So, for the first Summer event, the first part, you'll be developing an uninhabited island with various facilities for your liking. This has no impact on performance, so build what you like. You can reset the island when complete to build different stuff and get extra mana prisms. You can always use those, right? Part 2 starts about 10 days after Part 1. To access, you must build a statue, the final island development, and both end about the same time. You get Skahawk Assassin temporarily for completing Part 1, and you get her fully upon completing Part 2. We'll be outlining stuff going on in Part 1. Expect a Part 2 pregame and a separate show because, boy howdy, we got some stuff to cover. There are a whopping 5 materials in Part 1 you'll need to collect for the event shop, and the development quest: iron, stone, wood, food, and water. Part 2 has completely different materials, but the CEs from Part 1 will still offer a bonus to them. Basic order of operations: you'll do a couple intro quests, and then unlock development quests, where you swap out certain materials to build a new structure. Each structure has a cutscene when built and gives you 20 mana prisms. Each development quest has 3 options. Unlocking one means you can't do the other 2 until the story is finished and you can basically reset, but doing so is not required. Doing these development quests will also unlock more story and free quests to move the story and get more materials, while every day there will be daily quests for QP and a decent chunk of mats, and as you complete story quests, you'll unlock trial quests for the Summer Servants. The breast free quests are unlocked by completing the main story, so that's when you really get to your farm in. Focus on developing main story first, though. Alright, everybody, strap in double set, because I'm about to list off all the servants and CEs that give bonuses to what materials, alright? Here we go. So, Iron is boosted by Altera, Mordred, Siegfried, Arjuna, Tesla, Emiya, Nobu, Anne and Mary Summer, Brynhildr, both Lancer Artorias, Meb, Anne and Mary Regular, Summer Mordred, Blackbeard, Da Vinci, Edison, Paracelsus, Babbage, MXX, Vlad, Lancelot Berserker, Fran, Eric Bloodaxe, Spartacus, Amakusa, Edmund and Angra, and the SSR Gacha CEs. Stone is boosted by both Neros, Lancelot Saber, Caesar, Fergus, Bedivere, Gilgamesh, Kid Gil, Orion, Urale, David, Karna, Leonidas, Iskander, Ozymandias, Ryder Marie, St. George, Nitocris, Marie Castor, Medea, Tetheno, Jekyll, Cursed Arm, Phantom, Herc, Darius III, Lubu, Caligula, and the SRCs. Wood is boosted by Rama, Gwaine, Tristan, Aran, Li Shuin, Kyo Lancer, both Lancer Coups, Diarmund, Romulus, Hector, Benkei, Santa Alter, Ryder Kentoki, Ushiwakamaru, Medusa, Mephisto, Geronimo, Castor Gills, Sanson, Kentoki, Ku Alter, Raiko, Ibaraki, Beowulf, Kyo Berserker, and the rare CEs. Food is boosted by Artoriel and Archer, Saber Gills, Archer Artoria, Raber, Tawara, Skahawk, Tamamo Summer, Liz, Drake, Astolfo, Alexander, Tamamo Castor, Sanzo, Castor Liz, Rhyme, Helena, Irie, Castor Ku, Shakespeare, Carmilla, Summer Skahawk, Jin K, Fuma Kotaro, Sasaki Kojiro, Tamamo Cat, Asterios. And water is boosted by Okita, Void Shiki, Saber Lily, Dion, Adelante, Billy the Kid, Fionn, Martha, Boudica, Waver, Medea Lily, Hans, Mozart, Jack, Shuten, Emiya Assassin, Shiki, 100 Personas, Serenity, Matahari, Nightingale, Jean Alter, Martha Summer, and MASH. Food and water are also boosted by the CE Summertime Mistress. So basically, yeah, it's in the shop. So every servant is a bonus servant. All of them.
Let's give a polite golf clap for Lucky reading that off.
Yep, good for me. I'm still not done. The best locations for farming is wood is from the jungle, stone from the grasslands, iron from the caverns, water from the beach, and food from the primeval forest. Just keep in mind, these are the Japanese translations. English translations are subject to change. So the most efficient way to clear the event is to build a team which farms the material best and pick that development quest choice. But remember, there's story and stuff here, so that might not suit your style. But if you're a maximum completionist, you have been warned. So basically, you have a bunch of setups you can use. Make like 4 to 5 event squads, just one for each.
And basically, what we're saying is, if you want to clear the event fast, just pick the option that's whatever material you can farm the easiest. Like you're like, oh god, I can farm like 1,000,000 woods because I got like a full team comp of wood guys at max level. But there's cutscenes and stuff, so people like Lucky and me won't bother with that. But like if you are like, oh god, I have to complete this event or I will die, we've given you your life hack.
Let's see here. Oh, the event shop contains 4 copies of Summertime Mistress, so you'll need 1 to drop. Skullhawk's Summer's Ascension Mats, XP, Foes, QPs, Night Monuments, which I know everybody's like, yes. And pieces and materials such as scarabs, shoes, scales, metals, horns, seashells, feathers, seeds, octopus cupboards, and proofs.
By the way, seashells are a brand new material introduced in the summer event, just so they can fuck your shit up more. Guess who needs them?
Yes. And I made a mistake. When I saw Night Monuments, I was thinking it was the medals. The medals.
There are medals
in
the
medals
store,
are what people are going, yes,
But yeah, no, there's 20 night medals in there. Too bad I need 32.
It'll still save you time.
Got it.
And of course, there's the Part 1 banner, which has SSR Tama no Mai, and the SRs Mordred, and Mary, and Kiyohime, and the CE Pirates Party, Twilight Memory, and Shining Goddess.
By the way, all those CEs are fucking amazing. Pirates Party is Drake, Twilight Memory is Atalante, and Shining Goddess is Boudica.
It's all good. Good Civ.
It's a good banner.
I want them all.
Also, guess what?
Yeah,
the CEs will really help you. So, stockpile your FP now. I've been told if you're planning on focusing mostly on the Part 2 banner, watch the fuck out, basically, because you will really want a couple of these CEs to boost materials, because some of the quests can be harder to do if you just focus on bonus servants. So you might want some bonus CEs to help you level that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the summer Part 1. We will, assuming they announce it sometime soonish, we'll probably do Part 2 next week. It's very similar, it's just there's an entirely different set of materials, there's a different shop, and just...
Well, honestly, I feel like if they announce it late in the week, like Thursday, we might just hold off to the week after, just because it says 10 days.
Yeah, it's 10 days after.
Yeah, so who knows? It might be it's either going to be next week or the week after, but we won't leave you hanging, we promise.
Yeah, so basically, as of the time we're recording this, and it's technically still Saturday, it hasn't rolled over yet. The anniversary stuff ends on I believe it'll be 9-ish in Pacific time, where the game's universal time is set on the 17th, which is a Tuesday. So something will happen Wednesday. They haven't told us yet what.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible, will that be a Camelot banner for some of those days? Will it be summer straight away? Who knows? But
my personal guess is they're actually going to launch the Camelot banner here in a couple days, like maybe Monday. Mm-hmm. Let that run like a week, and just have a few days overlap into summer. That's my personal take on it. That's what I'd do.
Mm-hmm. And that
maximum saturation.
That would seem to be smart to keep stuff time compressed, but also give everybody a little slice of time so they have exactly what they want to roll on.
Yep.
Alright, well, everybody make sure to golf clap at home for Lucky. He only goofed up a couple of those pronunciations. Don't yell at him about it. That was a lot of fucking names. He got the ones he's been bad at in the past good at least.
Yeah. Oh man, like some people were watching our old stuff and are like, I'm getting mad at Lucky for how he pronounces Tomomo, and I'm like, I get better, I swear. As I'm writhing on the ground.
We like that you watch our old stuff, but boy howdy, we hope you push through it to the new stuff because we do improve, and we're sorry. We're still improving. I need to get a slightly better microphone. I know that some of it's because I have to do noise cancellation because, like I've said, I will die if there's not some kind of airflow in here. At least at this time of year. If I'm still where I am right now doing this in like winter, then God knows I'll turn everything off. I'll be in like 4 layers. I'll have like a hoodie on and then I'll throw a blanket over me. We can be perfectly silent, but I have to do a little bit of noise cancellation. So if you listen to me and you hear my microphone like pop or stutter a little, that's because I am filtering out the persistent background noise, which I know is also really annoying. So
people don't like hearing just a constant in the back.
I know some people are okay with that, but I think most people aren't, and it's not a professional sound look. So we're working with what we got. Let's talk about Napoleon.
We're just 2 guys, mics, and a shitty internet connection.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to fix it, and we need your help for that. But we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
And remember, your help is not necessarily giving us money directly. We talked about that. We're nearly 750 subscribers. That's way closer to spitting distance on 1,000 than I thought we would be by this time. And should we talk about the thing?
Did he say to keep it a secret?
No. I mean, he was asked by a fan, hey, guess what? We're probably giving it away. Voices approaches to do another collab.
Yeah.
We won't discuss the nature yet, because we got to do, I think, a lot more research to, like, figure this one out.
Yeah, but I won't, let's not spill what it is. But, no, this is collab with Voice 2, Lucky's Microphone Revenge.
Yeah. Now I'm actually going to talk about Napoleon. So, Napoleon's new. He's a permanent unlock. He's the new SSR Archer. As such, because he's permanent, you'll probably compare him to Arjuna or Tesla the most. Napoleon has a little bit less attack than the big hitters. And his HP is a little bit low. He's got a bit more than some, though. But he's not firmly at the top or bottom of either, I think. But he's QAABB with fairly normal hit counts and NP gen with Star Gen, which is normally appropriate to his class, which is to say, awful. Archers just do.
I don't know, I was looking at his animations. His Star Gen, like, it seems pretty low, but his MP generation actually looks, I think it actually looks a little bit better than what's normal.
Well,
might be because of the multi-hit counts, but yeah, man,
he has a good hit counts, and he has 2 whole arts cards. So
yeah.
He is what should be the normal amount of NP gen, which is okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of servants who have god-awful NP gen, which is sad, but it's true. Mm-hmm. So he will do okay at that. That's a thing he can do. And so then he's got basically a pretty standard AoE NP, which does overcharge scaling, bonus damage to Divine, but it also pierces defense. And actually, I've heard mixed reports, but I'm hearing from people doing serious analysis, he actually gives himself the defense pierce buff as part of his NP, not just it does defense piercing damage. So technically his next 2 cards, if he has 2, will also be defense piercing, which can be very valuable. Combined with one of his skills, that means he can do very consistent damage, which could be important. We actually talked about this like last week. Like Enforcement Knights can really pump their defense buff, and so all the bonus damage Big Dick swinging Gil can do with an NP doesn't matter if they reach like 100% damage reduction. So this would beat that. So his anti-divine damage is scaled similar to Nobu's anti-writing damage for her NP. So technically he's better at divine than her, but looking at it, divine's not a great cross-section for archers. Like, it makes sense because part of the reason why it's anti-divine is because of the urban legend that Napoleon blew off the nose of the Sphinx with a cannon. That didn't happen, the nose had already fallen off, but it's a thing that's been said about him. Hey, guess what? Sphinxes are divine, but they're casters. So,
Nah.
But yeah, no, he does a thing, and he'll get some sabers that way. It's not as good as writing, but it's a thing. He also doesn't outright replace Arjuna. I know some of our Discord members shit talked to Arjuna a little when Napoleon was revealed, but Arjuna has an NP interlude, and he has a better NP steroid, and he has 3 whole arts cards. So he's pretty good at getting to his NP, and just damage-wise, he does a turn. His, chance of death thing is a little weird and bad, unless he's using it on you, in which case it always seems to proc. But yeah, I guess that's probably because enemies have the weird levels of NP levels, I guess. But yeah, no. So he does not completely replace Arjuna's niche, and he does slightly different stuff from Tesla, which we'll cover in a second. So let's talk about his skills. So his first skill is a charisma variant, Triumphant Charisma, which gives him specifically extra attack for 1 turn. So it's like 20% for everybody, and then specifically an extra like 20% for him for 1 turn at max level, obviously. So he's doing a bit of an extra punch. And then he's got, which basically is a tactics variant. It's supporting fire cannons. It gives everybody on the team a very good NP damage buff for 1 turn, and then also raises their star gen by up to 100%, up to doubling a servant's native star generation, which also, by the way, might be why he can generate some stars sometimes. This combos very well with his NP, which has a couple of hits in it, and is obviously a Buster AoE. Also, it shoots rainbows. And then his last skill is like Pioneer the Stars. Actually, they explicitly say it's a fusion of Pioneer and Innocent Monster in kind of a good way. So, the NP gen is smaller. It's not all the way to 50%. It caps out at like 30-ish. But instead of getting stars all at once, it gives them per turn, which means it's still 10 per turn at max level, which Pioneer the Stars is just straight up 10 stars. So technically that's that 10 stars for 3 turns, and then it still gets Pierce Invincible for 3 turns as well. So this makes him a bit more of a team player than Tesla. Also, while Tesla does get an enhancement on his Inherent Wisdom, like right now, it's pretty rando. Like you very often, having used Tesla to farm a lot, you very often don't get the NP damage plus proc on that. So, what Napoleon can do, I forgot his name for a second there. Sorry, it's getting a little late, guys. That's what I meant when I said it was technically still Saturday. But he can very consistently buff not only himself, but also the team. And then he has an okay magic resistance and independent action. Basically, role-wise, if you are, saying, an NA player looking forward, or a Japan player who's been in it for a while, if you've already got an Arjuna or a Tesla, he doesn't, like, outright replace them. So if you don't want to roll for him, you don't need to for a niche. But if you're in the market for an SSR Archer, he does his job pretty good. I know their AoE busters is a little saturated, but considering he's permanent, he does his job pretty good. He has his own twist, and especially with team play, he can do a lot. But at the same time, he's freakishly self-sufficient, because he also buffs himself. He can charge his own MP, he can do the Pierce Invincible, and then 1 turn of, like, Defense Ignore. So, like, he has super consistent damage. If you do the Star Gen buff and do, like, an NP BB chain, he generates quite a lot of stars for himself, and then stars per turn, too, which he can turn around into a little bit of crits. Not a lot, because his independent action passive isn't super high, but still, like, he can do a lot of work you expect from an archer on his own or with a team, which can be great. A lot of utility. It's a little bit of crowded space. On the other hand, do those people in that crowded space have a huge hat and smoke cigars? I don't think so.
And have a giant cannon, which does a whole bunch of cool shit.
Yeah, Napoleon's pretty rad. So if you're curious, this Napoleon is average height, which actually Napoleon was averagely heighted for the time, so I think he's still, like, might be maybe a little bit short for, like, global average now, but he was an okay height. That was all British propaganda. There's a lot of propaganda about Napoleon, both good and bad, which is kind of what this character is. The rumor started because of a measurement discrepancy, by the way. He was reported in, like, French inches or something like that, or so many, like, feet or hands high. And then the British converted that, and they were like, oh, he's super short. Not really. Though his profile does explicitly mention he might be shorter as a rider, which would give him his Grande Armée as a noble phantasm. So you'd get French musketeers, I guess, bum-rushing people, riflemen. The cannon, though, in the artillery is good, because Napoleon fucking loved artillery. He was an artillerist, that's how he started his career, and he loved artillery strategies. That's actually kind of why he lost some of his battles, was because people expected, oh, it's Napoleon, he's gonna use fucking cannons. But his source is Napoleonic Tales. This servant Napoleon, like with his Pioneer of the Stars, is like, he is that guy. He is the emperor of the people, the guy they decided to be in charge. He's the guy who shot the nose off the Sphinx. He went into the pyramids and he talked to Alexander the Great. lots of other like urban legends about him and stuff, and he represents a hope of mankind and their maximum potential. That's kind of what his Arc de Triomphe rainbow laser is. It's he turns the potential of mankind into beams and shoots them at people.
And they're rainbows.
Yeah, and it forms a blissful arc. So the writer version does seem to be a possible variant who may show up later. But the Archer version has to do with his deeds that changed human history and showcases the potential of humans. He's a lot like Nobu, because he's got like anti-mystery powers, but he's less Demon King. Though I will say this, if the writer version of him doesn't have like a version of Nobu's Demonic King ability called Old Boney, I'm going to be super disappointed. Because, by the way, the British used Napoleon as a boogeyman for literal decades, even after he was dead. It was like, do your chores at night, children, or Old Boney will get you. You're like, this Corsican fucker's dead already. He's been dead like 100 years. Why are you telling me this, Ma? Old Boney! It's great. Napoleon's a great servant. His lore is great. We said this. He's super bro, too. Like, he is definitely the best Napoleon who could show up. And he brings his A game. He smokes cigars. He's got a big hat. He's cool with you. He doesn't seem like he's super rude to some people. He has a funny interaction with Moriarty, because Moriarty is called the Napoleon of crime. He seems real fun. Let's see, what time are we at? We're at over an hour. We don't really care about the show running too long, but do we want to burn this discussion topic in my back pocket, or do we want to keep it?
Yeah, let's burn it.
All right. Okay. So this came up on our Discord. I believe it was Ononaki who asked it first, but basically, this is kind of a three-part just random discussion topic, because we know you like these. We get a lot of feedback out of these, actually. So we're going to talk about a tri-part topic, which is SSR distribution, if you could pick a free SSR, and then how limited versus permanent is skewed, aka Knight classes and assassins are limited as fuck.
Yeah.
So the theory came up, what would Delightworks do as a pick a free SSR event? Because that happens sometimes with other gacha games. It's not really how FGO is styled. I don't feel like they'd ever do this. But the caveat we thought was, okay, not limiteds. It'll be just story locks and permanents. So what would you pick if you could pick? And this, I actually compiled the list for everybody because, like, ooh, that's an interesting discussion. I said, everybody, hold on. I can actually look up in Japan right now who all that would be and display it. And I guess I gotta, because one has come out, I gotta add the name to this. I gotta add Napoleon to it.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and slot him in. But still. So, let me give this list to you, Lucky, because I don't think you were around to be in this discussion anyway, so you can also give your thoughts on if you could pick a free SSR. So, this list is Artoria, Altera, Mordred, Karna, Enkidu, Artoria Lancer, Orion, Arjuna, Tesla, Napoleon, Drake, Maeve, Ozymandias, Quetzalcoatl, Achilles, Waver, Tamamo, Sanzo, Scheherazade, Anastasia, Jack, Osakabe Hime, Vlad 3, Nightingale, Kualter, and Jean. That is the list. Those are all the permanent or story-locked servants that are SSR rank. I had to cold logic myself on this. I had to gut check, and I had to say, be smart. Pick Artoria Lancer. She's story-locked. Because in my mind, it's Oz or it's Artoria Lancer, and I'm like, don't be dumb. Pick the one who isn't permanent.
Honestly, for me, looking at it, it would have to be probably Artoria, or, well, actually, I could probably say Altera, too. Artoria or Altera, because I need an SSR Saber. Actually, shoot, Mordred. All of them would fill that niche, because I need an, because I don't have an SSR Saber. I just don't. I have, like, 5 SR Sabers. No SSR.
So, Lucky, that perfectly transitions into my talking about limited and permanent and how the Knight classes are limited as fuck. I own 2 out of 3 SSR Sabers who are in the game, and this is the current list from Japan.
Yeah.
That number will not change. In fact, by the time we catch up to this point in Japan, I may own 3 SSR Sabers, because I'll be rolling in some paid gachas and stuff.
Yeah, there's a fuck ton of SR Sabers.
Of which I also have a lot, but that's not relevant to this discussion. But still.
Yeah, but my only other one would be Artoria Lancer, because I don't have an SSR AoE. Actually, I just don't think I have a good AoE Lancer at all.
Yeah, you got Liz, but Liz has rank ups coming, so obviously she needs a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, she needs a little bit of boost. I have her, but as I said, like, she's a cute, she's a precious.
Though I will point out,
Kinda...
this Christmas you're gonna get a free AOE Lancer.
Yeah, but as I said, like, Artoria Lancer, like, should be pretty good. But as I said, I have no SSR assassin. I mean, not assassin, saber.
Mm.
Like, I am fucking set on the cavalry side.
Look at this.
Set.
Well, look how everybody but assassin is coordinated in that, and you and I just happen to have been lucky enough to roll Jack. Hey, guess what? Hey, Lucky, virtual high five. We own literally one of 2 permanent assassins in the SSR category.
Yay.
Still. Holy shit. What is going on here?
Looking at this, like, aside from... Yeah, looking at the list, I literally just do not have Meb, Ozzy... Like, I'm not counting the ones that haven't been unlocked yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Mez, Adi, and Ku Alter. Like, all the other ones that have been released for Cavalry, I have.
Mm-hmm. Also, we should point out, other than Sabers, which I will say this, I'm super glad they didn't go that route with London and make Mordred a story lock, because that would have sucked for me. Though I rolled the runner rate up, so I guess not. But still, like, I feel like it would have hurt me long-term thinking about the game. But all 3 of the Sabers are permanent unlocks. Mordred was added later, but they're all permanent unlocks. Every other one of those classes that's super limited, I think, except for Assassins, have 1 story lock in there. Artoria Lancer, Tesla. None of the casters, I think, are story locked, which is interesting. And then Ku Alter is story locked. But yeah, like, Assassin's super limited. The Knights class is super limited. Berserkers are a little too, I guess, now that I look at it, but they're very good, though, when you actually get them, and they have a great, strong SR. So yeah, this is weird. However, that Napoleon was added. He is a full-blown permanent SSR archer. So I'm hoping and wondering, especially because that's how Anastasia was, that at least some of the Lost Belts will be used as an excuse to add interesting, mechanically useful characters as permanent unlocks, right? Like, they're going to take this opportunity that they're doing another big story push to fill out some of these setups, because, well, okay, sure, it's super interesting and all, and obviously there are fuck tons more. Like, there are actually quite a few Sabers in the SSR rank. They're all limited. They're all limited. Same with Assassin. There are actually quite a lot of SSR Assassins, all limited. So, yeah, some of these are more balanced out if you're looking at them overall, but we all know that mechanically, a permanent unlock with maybe like a couple dedicated raid ups every once in a while, or like you can expect like a story rotating banner at some point. Like, yeah, no, you can do some stuff with that to keep your game more mechanically balanced and be like, the players don't need to complain, like, they've got fair shots to roll characters who do stuff in this niche. So yeah, that's just like, this is just so... Like, I had to stop and look at it and go, wow, this is a current list from Japan. I literally own 2 out of 3 Sabers on this list.
Yeah.
And I own the only extra class.
Like, honestly, I should have rolled on the freaking Knights banner for the paid, but no, I wanted to take a risk. I wanted a husbando or a waifu.
Well,
that's how
you
I
missed.
do. It bit me in the ass.
It did. You did the thing you shouldn't have done, and you got immediate karma for it.
Yep.
Which happens sometimes. Be mindful at New Year's and or Thanksgiving. By the way, that's another reason why I think they should... Not that I think... Because, remember, we are now English, and we're in, like, Australia and the Philippines and stuff, where they don't have American Thanksgiving. But if they do Thanksgiving again as, like, the New Year's thing, with the paid lucky bag and all that... If they move Babylonia up, they can actually include Enkidu and Kets in the by Thanksgiving time, which would be good for them, because guess what? People were upset about how the lucky bag last Thanksgiving went.
Oh yeah, you was.
Yeah.
No Mordred.
Well, I mean, I was upset, but also I was like relieved, because it was like, oh fuck, I don't have to worry about this then. So it stressed and then de-stressed me. Like, I got over it because it worked out for me okay, and I eventually was able to do the paid, and I got Altera on it, so that's cool. But yeah, no, like, it caused an uproar, and it did give me some agita at the beginning, so it's very interesting. So, we throw all that out to you. Who would you pick off this list who's a free SSR. If this sort of thing were to happen, it has seemed like at least for some events, the Lightworks has started to escalate their free stuff, and a little bit of free stuff's been escalated in the US. Like we got a whole second free SR pick that Japan didn't get. Like they got a later one for a different download event, but it was a much more broad, had like story locks in it and stuff. So
I'm gonna say right now, I would pick Arturia Lancer because once this thing is gone, she goes right back to being story locked.
Exactly. Like that was my logic. I was like, God, I really like Ozymandias, but
yeah,
I could use the slot that Arturia Lancer takes up, and she's story locked.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be getting spooked by Arturia, Altera, or Mordred here pretty soon.
At some point, just in terms of, I mean, like you got Jack on like a 10 pull, right? Like you got spooked by her rolling for Shuten, right?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I got Jack on a rando ticket, also possibly on a Shuten random. I don't remember, but no, it was just a random ticket pull. And 2 Teslas takes 6 tickets. That's a whole separate
tickets.
video, by the way. That was actually a video I recorded me making those rolls. So you should actually dig that video up, the London Banner 2, and listen to my astonishment and also pain.
Man, we got 10 tickets now, man. Like, is anyone else like trying super hard not to push that button?
I know. That was something somebody did somebody say that on our Discord? I think it was on Discord. Was like 10 tickets. That's too much power. And I'm like, yes, it is. That's too many. That's a literal 10 pull. It's not the same because the statistics aren't balanced, but it's the same chance for an SSR.
So it's like, no.
But no, I'm saving those. I want to see if they announce Camelot first. That's what I said at the beginning of the anniversary event. I'm holding my guns. I really want Da Vinci. It hurts me I didn't get her, but I was like, listen, she'll have rate-ups later. You can roll again then. And so I muffled myself to 110 roll, which we did on air. Which was okay anyway. It didn't,
I messed up. I actually
blew
my... Yeah, I messed up. I shouldn't have rolled on the... I messed up because I forgot that...
That it was... the Da Vinci banner was also the rolling story banner.
So I shouldn't have blew all my quartz at the first day. I should have waited.
Like, now that I think about it, that would have been more intelligent for us, but we were on the air, we were in a moment. It was like, do you want to do another? Yeah, fuck it, let's do 10 pull. So I did my 10 pull. I got 150 quartz for summer. I'm doing rank ups and interludes and shit. I'm gonna do it.
I think I almost got, I bought another 80 pack, and I'm so happy I get more quartz out of it.
No, it's a really good deal if you buy big packs.
What?
It's a really good deal if you buy big packs.
Yeah. But as I said, I'm trying to limit my spending here. So, that's why I'm waiting also for the Camelot 2 banner info to drop. Because if it doesn't show up by, the next couple days, I'm probably going to throw these tickets at London Da Vinci. Mm-hmm. Just because Da Vinci-chan and maybe Lancer Alter and maybe Mordred, which would be the SSR.
Yeah, at the very least, you'd get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact if Camelot isn't announced before Summer 1 and then I blow my quartz in Summer 1 and I don't get Mordred, they're gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going down that rabbit hole. But we'll see. We'll see what's announced. We'll see what happens. I don't think I have enough quartz to stream it per se, but I will definitely record my polls so you can get my live reaction kind of as I'm once again triumphant or die inside.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. And actually, it's good that I won't stream it, because that way, if something if I'm happen to do it before Lucky drops his quartz and I get Tomo Lancer, he's not gonna go nuts again like he did with John Alter.
My class is Bazako for a reason.
But alright, everybody, you think about that.
By
the way, if you want the primo strategy pick, it's waiver.
Yeah.
Unless you already have a waiver.
I'm super lucky that waiver was my second SSR ever.
Yeah,
he's actually, at Bond 9.
The character-wise, I really liked other people in the Rider or the Cavalry selection better, but I'm perfectly okay. I'm wonderfully happy that I got waivers, my guaranteed SSR pull, because that's holy shit, that is a tool I have wanted for a long time, is my own waiver. Now I don't need a support waiver. I can do my own waiver.
Now you can double waiver.
Yeah, if I wanted to. Which is real redunk.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be useful probably when the Nerofest rerun comes in, because there's gonna be challenge quests, and they're gonna have summon tickets, but they're gonna be fucking hard.
Also gonna be an Umu and an Umu Bride rate up, so I need those tickets.
Yeah, no, I tried to say to myself, after summer you're fine. You just wait till Christmas and Ishtar comes out, and then I'm like, wait, no, you're wrong. Because there's
I
going to
remember
be
this conversation.
Halloween with Cleo, who you want, because you need a fucking AoE assassin anyway. And also I like Cleopatra, because she's Egypt. And there's going to be fucking Nero Fest, which Bride's going to come back, and then regular Umu, and you're like, fuck, I also could use that. Because one, Nero Bride's a single target saber, which I don't have, and I like Nero. And I said kind of at the top that, like, Cockroach isn't always my playstyle. I actually think I said that on there. But, like, as an AoE arts saber, regular Nero has, like, a really good niche at server, which could be useful. Team her up with, like, Mordred and somebody. You know, if I have to, like, farm, like, Lancers or whatever. Solid. Okay. Let's see. We're at almost an hour and a half. Let's do... Do we want to do Servant Spotlight? We probably should, because we already put it off 1 week.
Yeah.
We can leave off Teach Me Omega Sensei. We can say that Class Containers is coming, but I don't think we'll get to that because that'll probably be a longer form discussion topic. And we'll skip. Story time's not important because they didn't announce that right up either. I might even save story time until they actually announce the Camelot 2 banner.
Yeah.
Wiggle my eyebrows. So let's talk about St. George. Is Burn actually
AKA
Burn
the
still actively
Wall,
listening?
AKA Tank Priest.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Burn is Burn's obviously in listening because that's you know, she's our one whale patron at the moment. But well actually not whales could listen too, but our one person at like the $10 level doesn't really seem to listen. But hey, you could listen too on $10 on Patreon. It's a real good deal. It's fun. We will totally interact with you. So St. George, he is a 2-star rider, and obviously that hurts his underlying stats a little bit, but in general, he's pretty good at what he does. His hit counts are a little low, but to make up for that, he's got, like, crazy good NP gen. Like, even for 2 hits, it's pretty decent. And let's see, where did he stack up on the terms of attack for... Okay, so technically he's, like, the lowest attack rider, but he's got pretty good HP, and then his skills are super defensive. We want to break down his skills first? Yeah, we'll break down his skills first, and then we'll talk a little bit about lore. So, why is George good? Step 1, he has a 3-turn, his first skill, by the way, Guardian Knight, is a 3-turn target focus to self, which is great. And then it's also got a 3-turn, up to 40% damage, or 40% defense up. And this is on a 5-turn cooldown at max level. So, he soaks up a lot of damage. His second skill is a not insignificant heal, and also increases his debuff resist for a few turns. Greatly increases, so it's pretty good. And then he's got like a 5-turn cooldown. Also, by the way, his magic resistance is already A, so he's already got a lot of debuff resist. And then his third skill is battle continuation at a really good rank. So if he actually happens to die, he can get back up again at least once, which is really impressive. He's hard to kill because his Noble Phantasm also increases his defense. Minimum 20%, maximum of 40%. This is overcharge based. It's also a single target arts. So it does a decent amount of damage. Like we've said, his attack is kind of low, so he's not a super high damage swinger, but he can do damage as a single target arts, and obviously, because he's a 2-star, you're going to get your full damage multiplier out of that. Also, it has the really interesting effect that it applies Dragon Trait to a single enemy, the target enemy, for 3 turns. Which means he's best buddies with anybody who does special damage to dragons. Like, I don't know, Siegfried? Who has both a skill to do special damage to dragons and an NP which does special damage to dragons. Well, now you can just make anybody you like a dragon. This is where the meme, "Thou art a dragon," comes from, because that's literally what he says. Nanji wa Ryu. And he makes people dragons. So, like we said, his kit's really solid, really good. He just soaks up a lot of damage. His Grailed stats are obviously pretty good, though his attack is still quite low. But still, like...
Well, he's a tank. He's not really there to...
He's not a hitter. His HP is fucking phenomenal, though. Like, if you grail, it's... Without grailing, it's at 9k. If you do grail, it's 13k HP. Like, at max grailing. He is a solid block. And,
yeah, he is good. Unfortunately, I haven't put the love into him that I should have, because I have John, and I've just been using her to tank things, but... seeing how something like... My
own,
Berserkers and And Avengers have come out now. I gotta start thinking about some other lines of defense here.
Yeah, my own George is not super high leveled. I put a little work into him to get him through like 1 Ascension. Just because before the servant amount really started to pick up, and actually I rolled for stuff because I saved a lot of quartz. There was an early spike where I rolled a decent amount, and then I started saving a lot of quartz, and so I've spent it fairly regularly a couple of times over the past couple months. So I have a decent number of servants now, but before it got kind of spread out, I put a little bit of love into all my low stars, got them through at least 1 Ascension, because that's how you unlock their interludes. And interludes have quartz in them. Mm-hmm. Or they do skills and stuff, but at launch, almost all of them are just quartz. So I put a little bit of work into it, but not my fullest. By the way, George is interesting because he's slightly unique in that he is one of the few bronze servants who has not had a rank up or strengthening quest. There's no NP interlude. None of his skills have ever had to be strengthened. Hans is another one. I think those are the only 2 bronzes. So that should say something about how good he is. He started with 3 skills, and at no point has he ever needed his skills improved. His NP hasn't been improved in any way. He's just good. Also, he's literally lawful good. Yeah. And so lore-wise, St. George is interesting. It's really interesting that he's a 2-star bronze, because in the original Fate Apocrypha project, which is basically what FGO become, basically the concept of a Fate massive game space. It was originally an MMO, but a lot of the concepts that would become FGO came from the original Fate Apocrypha project, and then the actual Fate Apocrypha story was kind of written from the same skeleton, but they changed a lot of the characters, because a lot of the characters were super broken. One of those is St. George. He has a horse, Bayard, which can negate an enemy attack once. That's his noble. That's why he's a rider. He has his sword Ascalon, which technically protects its owner from malice and evil, and is an invincible. It's an unbreakable sword. And then technically the dragon thing is an entirely different noble phantasm he has, where he just declares people are dragons, and they become dragons in a huge radius around him. So a lot like David, a lot like Benkei, he is lore-wise should be a super broken servant, like you were saying.
Yeah, but game balance and all that. Because he's still a super good character in FGO.
Yeah, he's super good, and I feel like, at least in terms of starting stats and stuff, a lot of those characters were nerfed. I think the only exception is Kentoki, who was he was part of the original FA project, and then he came back to FGO as a super cool servant, and he's still an SSR who has a really good variant. Excuse me, I yawned a little there, but yeah, no.
It's still technically Saturday, but it's about to not be.
Yeah, and he's a really good servant, and he's an all-around good guy. He likes photography, for instance. That's his bond. CE is photographs, but he likes them. It's a weird thing.
I always find it interesting when servants are interacting with the modern world.
Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of he's writer, so that's expected. But all of his skills, lore-wise, are full of interesting things. His Guardian Knight skill, he's known as a protector of a lot of other people. He's St. George and the Dragon is a famous legend.
Real famous legend.
Yeah. That's why he's probably a really good servant. I'm pretty sure that there are a couple different ones, but I'm assuming that it's the same St. George and the Dragon, so he's the I believe he's the patron saint of Britain. Is St. George?
I think so.
He's a prominent military saint. He actually has a feast day, St. George's Day, which is the 23rd of April. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I would just double-check his Wikipedia article. England and several other nations, cities, and other stuff claim him as their patron. He's got a long fucking list of patronages. So he is a very key character. A lot of his skills are regarded as unique to him, which is probably why they're so good, and why only he has them, because they are supposed to be unique to him in lore. But he was also, a knight and a Roman soldier originally, so that's why he's got a lot of battle experience. So yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. We hope you like him, and you should probably use him more. And we say that to ourselves. I'm not going to set up a poll this week. We'll let it breathe a little bit. But our next poll will probably be another servant poll, and it'll be some more bronzes. Maybe we talked about Hans. We talked about Leon. Did we talk about Leonidas yet? We might not have. So
I know we had a discussion about Leonidas when we were talking about rarity, but I don't think we've actually broken him down.
Yeah, we didn't actually break him down. So probably I will brief you. The poll will probably be like Leonidas, Billy Shakes, and Mozart, because Mozart had a strengthening recently. So that'll be interesting. We like to use Servant Spotlight to talk about a lot of like smaller servants who might not catch your attention right away, or are big like poster boy servants, and just let you know about some stuff. So let's see. We'll skip story time and Teach Me Omega Sensei for this week. We actually have quite a few. We got a couple different Teach Me Omega Senseis in our backlog now, because people actually brought up some like lore stuff we could break down. Like besides Noble Phantasms, we could talk about like we broke down what skills are like especially class skills are like in the game. But we could talk about what the fuck some of these skills are supposed to represent, like as a thing, like lore wise. And also,
like
people have asked,
like Nero's migraine skill. That's something important.
Yeah, which is that's a very interesting thing, like lore wise, that mechanically is like all benefit for her. Most skills are though. Like lots of servants have like cursed or sealing skills, but they really help them. But also we've gotten some general lore questions about how the fuck are servants actually supposed to work, like their mechanics, which I think could be a really interesting to then break down. We once had to talk about how you get servants and like what the Throne of Heroes is, kind of. Way back in our backlog.
Yeah,
we'll
probably be doing a callback to that, but it's because this is Nosoverse.
This is like mechanical shit, because there's a whole thing about because it's a ritual system, and there's a whole structure to it, so there is a logic behind a lot of servant stuff that we could break down and actually explain some stuff. But I think that's the show, and obviously next week, whatever happens when the North America First Anniversary ends, we'll let you know. If it's urgent, we'll drop on a newsroom on you. That's a thing we've done before. Those videos do surprisingly good. And if any servants are announced, we'll do a wanted.
Yep.
Oh god, that means I gotta do a wanted on Tomo Lancer. I didn't even think about that, but that's a thing I have to do.
Right. Yeah, you do.
Well, I'll do it.
Real quick, meme of the week. Better names for the Great Holy Grail War. We actually had some comments in our Discord about how silly that sounds, but honestly, it's just the literal translation. What is it?
If I'm remembering rightly, it's Dai Seihai Senso. So that's
which is literally
like
Great Holy Grail War, or Big Holy Grail War.
Holy Grail War.
Yeah. So it's pretty literal, but then we got like everyone went off and it's all like Ultra Holy Grail War, and then it's all like Amazing Holy Grail War.
We had some.
It's like no matter what you kind of use, there's none like something that makes it around sound really cool. It's just
it's a Holy Grail War, but it's great.
Yeah,
it's big.
It's bigger than usual.
Like I think Holy Grail War, or even Seihai Senso, that's good.
Yeah,
and my pronunciation is probably off, but that's okay because I'm doing this from memory. I'm trying, damn it. But yeah, we don't really have any master feedback. We do have a kind of a community thing we want to bring up. So we talked about a lot this on What's Up, which, like I said, I'm thinking now, looking at the clock and how long this is going to take. I'm pretty sure What's Up is going to go up before this. So obviously, if you haven't listened to that, go listen to that there. But there's lots of other topics in it, so we will cleanly and concisely address it here, where there's time codes and shit. But so it's come to our attention that our Discord's getting kind of big. Let me look at it right now. So there's you and me, and then there's like 5 people. And there's
we got like 70 something.
There's like 20 people online right now. 25 people online right now, and then there's like 50 people just who aren't online right now. Some of those are bots, but we're at about 75 people, and it has reached the critical mass where people are having conversations entirely on their own. They will direct questions to us as appropriate or throw stuff out at us, but sometimes they just talk back and forth about stuff. Most of it's FGO, but some of it's other stuff because we do have some decent number of topic channels. And so here's the thing. I made a lot of these topic channels so that for ease of use of community members, if you're in the channel, if you're in the Discord server and you're looking at a channel, if you're trying to get questions or you're trying to talk about a specific subject, you can pretty much guarantee, bless you by the way, Lucky, you can pretty much guarantee that you will be on topic and can talk about the thing. And if you want to ask questions or you want to start a discussion or jump in, you can do that. But sometimes when our community members are talking amongst themselves, the conversation can do a naturally kind of a drift and it can get away from them a little, and then it kind of clutters up some of the channels, which has made me, as the admin, I'm the big red text guy who is technically in charge of this thing, has made me hesitant to interrupt conversations before. Right, like, to be like, oh, I want to bring up just some other bit of something, but these people are having a conversation right now. And so if that sort of stuff gets away from us while we're not around, because it does happen, because we got people at all walks of life, all corners of the earth, all time zones, basically. So, hey, sometimes Lucky's at work and I need to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens.
Not to mention that we've had a couple instances lately where we had to break out the spoiler police.
Yeah, so there have been a couple of questions where we've gotten some very in-depth discussions, and some spoilers have been thrown out outside of our special spoiler channel, which is like, it's like marked as a not safe for work channel, so you have to opt in to see it. Like, it's got all kinds of warnings, and it's very clearly for spoilers. And like, there was one time where it just happened to be like, whoa, okay, delete that. And we joked about spoiler police. That's literally what I said. I threw out a police emoji, and I was like, this is the spoiler police. Or this is the police. Everybody drop your spoilers and put your hands up. And hey, guess what? If I hadn't been around, there would have been nobody who could do that. You could self-censor, and some people are good about that if they're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to, you're right, I shouldn't have said that. Our community's pretty chill about it, but just like, in the moment of the rapid pace, you need somebody to catch that. So basically what we're getting at is, it's kind of that point where we think we need moderators. We've had the role set up for a long time. We have a special mod-only zone where only mods can go. And also voice. But that's just because we need to talk about, like, technical stuff. So, yeah, basically, we're looking for moderators. We're looking for moderators from the community. We don't know exactly how that format's going to take. Like, we should probably do a little research about some, maybe, like, what our application process should be. But I can throw this out there, just in general. Like, if you're on the Discord, and because I can think of a couple community members who I think would be good at it.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't mind the added responsibility, a kind of, not even an informal, a formal promotion from just guiding the community to a moderator, somebody who helps guide the community, let us know, and we can consider you. But we need people to be serious about this, right? Like, if we give you the blue text,
I'm gonna put down a few stipulations. One, you need to be a part of this community for a part of our Discord for at least 3 months. So you've been around, you know people, people know who you are. Mm-hmm. So I just can't pick up some random guy off the street and say, all right, you be a moderator just because you want to. Two, you have to like exhibit fair judgment and ability to, make informed decisions.
Yeah, because we don't mean this is a bad thing, but we have some fiery people in the Discord.
Yeah,
we got some people who shoot off about some stuff. That's not necessarily moderator material, and they probably wouldn't like it anyway, because they're being spirited. You got anything else?
And three, just someone who's been active in our Discord, someone who talks and stuff like that.
Which, by the way, we can check, because we can check your levels, because we have an EXP bot, which lets everybody know. You get levels, you get experience by posting, which gives you levels, which can give you roles, so you can get like special text. But yeah, if you are to take up the mantle of the blue text, which by the way, you will just be a regular moderator, you will not be a prophet of Mikano. You don't have to worry about that. That's Lucky's special role, which also has moderator powers, but gives him bright blue text to freak people out. But if you take on the mantle of the blue text, that's a serious thing. Like, we're gonna expect you to pull your weight. Like, not all the time. Like, if Lucky and I are both around, I mean, we're technically senior in this org chart. We should be expected to do something. We're not gonna like shovel our work off onto you. But this is like, yo, you have to be able to, when you're on, to watch the channels and be able to go like, okay, this is against our actual outline of rules. Because hey, we have server rules. There are 4 server rules. Actually, there's like 6, but that's because there's a 0.5 rule. But still, like, we have a system of rules in place. If you can enforce our extremely limited rules and keep everything on point, we are willing to accept community members now, because we actually brought this up on the show before when we were talking about like community interaction and moderation. We said the moment we feel like this is starting to get away from us a little, we're gonna be like, we need some people. And so we've had a couple things and we're like, shit, this is getting away from us a little. We need some people.
Yeah, as I said, like, conversations are going, like, there's sometimes, like, I go away for, like, 15, 20 minutes to work on stuff. I come back, and there's just 75 messages. I'm just like, well, then.
Yeah, I do the same a lot, where I'm like, I'm just minding my own business, and it lights up, and I'm like, okay. If I'm awake and active, I try to watch conversations as they go on, not necessarily inserting myself. unless I feel like it. But like sometimes it's like so fast, and sometimes people are just talking about stuff, and you're like, I don't necessarily care about this right now. Like, people can just go off and have a conversation about like we have community members who talk about like lots of different gacha games. Like, I mean, I don't play Grand Blue Fantasy. I don't really play Fire Emblem Heroes anymore. I don't play the Kingdom Hearts gacha game. So we have community members who do, and they like to talk about it and share that in the channel about that. And I'm like, I mean, I'll double check. Because
sometimes you start talking about Girls Frontline.
Exactly.
So.
God knows. Somebody could be talking about Girls Frontline. Then I gotta be in there. But otherwise, it's like, okay. I'm not following this conversation deeply. So just, some more hands would help. That's all we're saying.
And sometimes, like, honestly, like, I'm starting to, like, ease back on my Discord participation just because now there is so much conversation that it's hard for me to get in sometimes. I'm just all like, well, I guess I'll just yell in another channel.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, we created this community. Literally, I created the server. We put the links out there. Like, ostensibly, people come to talk about stuff related to the channel or whatever. But, the community does not need to and cannot survive on just us alone. So it's good that they can do this stuff and like chat and stuff. And we have our own lives. We can do our own stuff, like record the show. But still, like it's a thing where it's like, sometimes I wake up in the morning and there's like 500 messages. I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm gonna scroll through this to see if anything interesting happens. And
there's sometimes like I remember it was a couple days ago. It's all like. I look at this text wall and I'm just going to go, nope, ignorance is bliss. Rip a Meg, because I know he is going to read this.
Exactly. And sometimes people leave me goodies.
Mm-hmm.
Words of encouragement. Funny jokes just for me because they know that I'm in the future scrolling through this trying to make sure. Because obviously, like, when we do show notes and stuff, you may have noticed we reference our community a lot. We use our community as a source for a lot of this stuff because it's good. So, hey. Guess what?
We got a lot of smart people in our community.
We get a lot of information, so guess what? I pay attention to what you say in that form, because I will try and see if there's anything to distill out of it. But if you guys were just arguing about who's got bigger pecs again, I don't know, some weird random argument that doesn't actually happen, like, okay, I've heard that before. If you guys want to have that discussion again, go for it, but I don't need to be there for that. So yeah, I guess that's the end of the show. That's our like master feedback and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we've come to the end. And as always, I would like to tell you, if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any comments about any of the stuff we've said, any of the stuff we have directly asked to you, leave those in the comment section down below, because we love comments.
Yeah, we do.
If you are new here and are not already, please subscribe, and even if you have already subscribed, just hit the bell for notifications. It's the best way to keep track of our videos when they're posted. Always know when a new video is coming out. You can also keep track of us by supporting us on Patreon, as it says at the front of the show. You can get this episode in audio format, early and downloadable, for just $1 a month. And you can also get access to other goodies at our various levels, like listening to the show live. You can also support us by buying our merch. We got a merch link in the description. Same with our community Discord, that's on the description of this video. Also, I don't talk about it a lot, but I always put end cards in our videos, so sometime about now, however, when the episode ends, because you have to do it in like the last 20 seconds, there'll be some stuff will pop on your screen. You can click or tap that to get other videos by us and do stuff like subscribe and check out our Patreon and whatnot. So yeah, hope everybody had a good time.
Like my Dead Space playthrough, since we mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I can do that.
It's actually doing pretty well. I just looked at it. It's got 30 views right now. I'm all like, holy shit.
It's got a little bit of interest. It's doing slightly above average for some of our Let's Plays.
Yeah.
Sometimes those get only a few and they kind of taper off or they wiggle up and down, but this is doing pretty well. Yeah. Real good. I hope people enjoy it because I liked it. I have to figure out where in the schedule 2 and 3, which are already made, will come out. So that'll definitely be over the course of next week, but we'll figure that out. But yeah.
Yeah, it's good. All right, well, since we passed midnight, let me check the news just to make sure we're not going to get spooked by anything. Okay, cool. We're clear.
All right, we're good. All right. It's
That'd be real shitty.
No news has happened. We're done, so.
Yeah.